What's up, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas on the Pot at the Palace, coming to you with another morning edition of our basketball talk. I guess that's kind of what we're transitioning into now that we're getting to the season. It's not necessarily the Hoop Hogs video mailbag where we're doing the Q&A, although if you continue to slide me some solid questions, I'd be happy to get to them because we're going to keep doing these things every single morning. But we're still kind of reacting to this Kansas exhibition game where Arkansas wins, knocks off number one, 85-69. In a game that doesn't count officially in the win-loss column. It was the unofficial debut of John Calipari as the head Hog, but it was an incredible atmosphere and a really, really solid showing by the Razorbacks, and it's got a lot of people buzzing, and the fan base should be excited about that because the Hogs went out there and took care of business, but it's not just them. You know, this game was on SEC Network. A lot of eyes were on it. And all of a sudden, you're seeing that the hype around the Hoop Hogs is growing very quickly. A lot of national analysts giving Arkansas a lot of love. People were impressed with John Calipari, said he looked like he's coaching with joy again, that he's refreshed, rejuvenated. I thought he coached a very good game last night personally. People who are obviously enthralled with Boogie Fland and DJ Wagner and the backcourt possibilities at Arkansas. A lot of people who are really impressed. College basketball talking heads. I was going back and forth with Aaron Torres today, who was talking about all those guys and how impressed he was with Arkansas in this game last night. When you start getting all that buzz and you got a lot of attention, a lot of spotlight on you, it's hard not to get the big head a little bit, right? So is it fair to buy into the hype with the Razorbacks right now? Is it too soon? Because I think a lot of us are definitely snake bitten. We've talked about this a lot. That Purdue exhibition last year, people thought, hey, this is Arkansas might be a Final Four team, man. And then, they wind up kind of stinking the entire season. We know that a couple years ago, they get blown out at Texas in an exhibition. Then they wind up going to the Sweet 16. A couple years before that, they damn near lost to a Division II school, and they go to the Elite Eight. So these exhibitions don't necessarily have any kind of correlation to what you're really going to see throughout the course of the season. But I think what you saw from Arkansas last night, a couple things. One, there's some sustainability there, I think, because as well as Arkansas played, some of their key pieces didn't play as well as I think they're going to for the most part in the season. Like Nelly Davis, very rusty with that wrist. Jonas Adu was out, obviously. And Kansas had some guys out too, in fairness, but I'm just talking about the Razorbacks specifically in their performance in this one. Adu Thiero, I think, is going to be better than he was last night. I think the freshmen are going to continue to improve. Trevin Brazile is going to continue to improve. And so whereas some guys really showed out where you could look at it and say, are Boogie and DJ really going to score nearly 50 points combined every game? Probably not, but I bet Nelly Davis scores more than 5, right? And so it's almost like the law of averages. It tells you, I think this team has a pretty solid floor and a really high ceiling. The pieces are there for Arkansas. And so I don't think you look at last night's result and go, oh, buddy, like this is it. Final Four, baby, here we go. Because there are going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows throughout the course of the season. I bet Arkansas doesn't look as good Friday night at TCU as they did this past Friday against Kansas. And Kansas is picked to win the Big 12 and TCU's picked to finish like 9th or 10th or something. So that's just kind of the way it works. But what you can see is that the potential is there. And I think that's what excited Arkansas fans so much Friday night. The atmosphere was awesome. The team played hard. They were further along than I thought they were in terms of the chemistry and the continuity, which is really good to see. I love the way they were competing on both ends of the floor, sharing the basketball, flying around defensively. Those are all really, really positive signs, I think, from your opening takeaways of this roster. But here's the thing. It's great to see Seth Greenberg talking up the Hogs. It's great to see, On3 and ESPN and everybody else just, putting out their tweets and the eyeball emojis of, John Calipari, oh, buddy, he hasn't lost his fastball. All that stuff is good. You want that attention. You're going to get it now. If you're Arkansas basketball and if you're Razorback fans, get prepared to see that. The question is, do you run crazy with it? Do you believe in it? And when is the right time to really start buying into the hype? I think you can be very excited, very encouraged by what you saw. Puff out your chest a little bit because this team showed what it's capable of. Can they do it consistently, what they did the other night? I don't know. We'll find out. But we know that they've got it in them. And so it's up to those guys to continue to come together and the coaching staff to continue to get these guys rolling and improving throughout the course of the year so they're playing their best basketball come March. We know all those things. But here's something that stood out to me. And as a basketball nerd, there are just certain voices that I listen to. When they say something, I hear them and I believe it more so than others. And anytime an opposing coach is in town, he's going to be complimentary of the team that they're playing. That's just the way it works. But Bill Self is a Hall of Famer in his own right. We talk about John Calipari being an active Hall of Famer. Bill Self is that guy too. He's a national championship coach. He's one of the best in the business right now. When he speaks, I listen. And he was very genuine in his comments about Arkansas last night. So if you weren't already starting to buy into the hype, if you respect and value what Bill Self has to say the way that I do, buddy, after you hear this, you're going to be feeling pretty good about the Razorbacks for sure, because he offered some really high praise.
Learned that their 3 guards kicked our 3 guards, but I learned that their big guys kicked our big guys, but I'm thinking that it'll be a different team when some other guys get out there. But Arkansas is really talented. I mean, they got great pieces and their guards. I mean, that'll be the best trio of guards we play against this year. There won't be anybody better than that we play against. So and then they got shot blocking and rim protection behind it. They got a good team. I actually think this team's better than some of the ones he's had at Kentucky. We played them at least every other year for the last 10 years, and probably played them 7 times in the last 10 years or whatever. There was a couple of teams that were elite. This team, to me, has a chance to be terrific, and maybe more talented than some of the teams that he's had at Kentucky. Not all of them, but some of them. I think they have a real chance.
Wow. There you go. I mean, you love to hear it. Big Blue Nation, they're probably in shambles after hearing that Bill Self thinks this Arkansas team could be better than a bunch of his Kentucky teams. And Cal had some really great Kentucky teams. I know if you listen to them talk, you wouldn't believe it, because you think he just did a terrible job and he burned Rupp Arena to the freaking ground the way they talk about the man. But he had some just incredible success at Kentucky, not so much recently, but for Bill Self to say something like that, I think it really speaks volumes. Before we move forward, I want to tell you guys really quick about one of our sponsors, Rowback. You see it on the bottom there. If you need some Razorback gear, the seasons are changing. If you need a hoodie, a quarter zip, some of that winter gear to keep you warm, the highest quality stuff you're going to find out there is at Rowback. And we got a really good deal for you. Promo code HOGSBY20, not HOGSBY90, like John Neighbors likes to say, HOGSBY20 at rowback.com. Use that promo code. You get 20% off your first purchase. I would definitely recommend you check it out. Some high quality stuff, super comfortable. Absolutely love it. And I'm looking forward to wearing it as the season changes here. But back to the conversation, it's, man, that's high praise, because again, Kansas plays in the Big 12, and that's a hell of a league. I would say the Big 12 and the SEC are 1-2 in terms of conferences in this country. And for Bill Self to come right out and say, hey, these 3 guards, man, it's going to be the best that we've seen, the best that we're going to play all year. That speaks volumes, because they play a tough schedule, man. But I do think that Arkansas really has something there with their guards. Could it be one of the best backcourts in the country? It's not crazy to consider. Do I think they're there yet? No. Boogie Flan, you saw the high end of what that man is capable of. And folks, enjoy him while he's here, because I think you're only going to have him in Fayetteville for a year, especially if he continues to play like that. But just an electric point guard. All those questions about, does Arkansas have a point guard? Are we going to keep asking those, or are we sold? Because I think Boogie is PG1, man. He handled DeJuan Harris, who is the oldest, most veteran national championship winning guard in the country, did a tremendous job on both ends of the floor against him. I think he's up for the challenge. He'll have his ups and downs as a freshman, of course, but you see what he's capable of. Hard to look at DJ Wagner last night and think he's not incredibly improved from where he was last year. More explosive, more confident, more comfortable. The shot looks better. Can he do it consistently? Will he stay healthy? We'll see. And then John L. Davis, you know that he's going to come around, man. You know he is. And that's something that Bill Self talked about a little bit later. He was like, hey, Boogie's very good. DJ's very good. But their most talented guy in the backcourt is probably not all the way back yet, not 100% yet. And we saw that. We saw him shaking off some rust. But if you were impressed by Boogie and DJ last night, just wait. I'm telling you, Wait until Nelly Davis really starts to get cooking. So the potential is there for Arkansas to be really, really good in the backcourt, and you got to have guards. You got to have high-level guards to win in the NCAA tournament. And it's a combination of things. It's talent, high-end talent, which you've got with a guy like Boogie Flan, and it's veteran leadership and experience and guys who've been there and done that. And you have that in Wagner and Nelly Davis. So I think there's something there. I like that he was complimentary about Arkansas's bigs because I thought Big Z played really well. You could see the development, what a difference an offseason can make in a player, and just being in strength and conditioning, being in the program, active practices, and just the level of comfort he has now compared to, man, just trying to get in where he fits in and fight an eligibility battle and then join a rotation in the middle of SEC play in January. That's tough, man. So it's good to see the progress that he's made. But yeah, I mean, the pieces are absolutely there for Arkansas. So yeah, sure. Be excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch these guys play it again. If there's one thing that's for certain, they were a hell of a lot of fun to watch last night. And that's something that Coach Cal said. That's what he wanted going into this thing, was he wanted people walking away saying, man, I had fun watching this team. If anybody left Bud Walton Arena last night and they didn't have fun, you're just a hater or not a basketball fan. I mean, that was an absolute blast. But with all of the buzz that's being generated now that we've seen it with Arkansas, it's one thing for us as people who cover the team or as fans who care about the team to get fired up, talk a little smack, buy into the hype, whatever. It doesn't matter how we feel or how we act or how we approach things. It's about the team. And I'm telling you right now, Coach Cal, I was impressed because he was obviously asked about the comments that Bill Self had, and he pulled a Nick Saban, man. He ain't having it with the rat poison. Check this out.
Pretty good. What are your thoughts on Bill saying
Very
that?
early to make that statement. Very early to make that statement. And yeah, I had these teams, and I had some teams in the middle, and you know, I had all of it. Where will this thing play out? All I know is when you have really good guards, you usually have a really good team. But we also have a 7-2. We have an all-conference in Jonas. You got to I mean, we got some guys. And now it's, which people, the normal comment is, how are you getting all these really good players to play together? You demand it. You demand a lot, you get a lot. If you accept mediocrity, that's what you get every time.
I like it, man. I like that. That's exactly what you want to hear from him. He ain't having it. He is not having it. And shout out to him for when the student section started chanting overrated at Kansas. He's like, no, shut that down. We're not doing that here. And I appreciated that. I really did. But he kind of echoed some of the sentiment there. Good guards equals good team, but you got to have other pieces. And you can tell he's got some confidence, under the playing it coy a little bit about it. They've got some dudes. They absolutely do. And I think he probably agrees. I'm sure he does with the way I feel about it. I think it's a little telling that Arkansas was able to show as well as they did Friday night, and knowing that there's, you're still without your all SEC center and your defensive anchor in Adu. And there's just a handful of guys there that are going to play better on a pretty consistent basis. So that was good. I think he's taken the right approach here. I loved how he walked in with his opening statement, and he immediately just like threw water on the entire thing. He's like, listen, they were down two of their better guys. Like, we don't need to be doing triple backflips here. And then he was about to be really complimentary of his guys. And he was like, hey, I love the way we competed, the way we were guarding the ball defensively. And then he realized that he was pissed off because he's like, we had 3 turnovers in the first half. We had 10 in the second half. How the hell do you have 10 turnovers in the second half? And he was like legitimately fired up about it. It wasn't a shtick. I like that. He's coaching those guys hard. You could tell. I went back and was able to watch a decent amount. I was at Bud Walton, but I was able to watch a decent amount of the mic'd up thing. He ain't letting anything slide with these guys. He's coaching them hard, man. And he's got some high standards that he's demanding out of these guys. And so far they're picking up what he's putting down. But man, how fun is it to be in this situation right now? It's just the spotlight being on Arkansas basketball. This could have gone one of two ways. It could have been, a situation where it's Coach Cal's fresh start, but it's not going to work out, and it's weird and it's awkward, and maybe the game really has passed him by. Or it could be a situation where the man's rejuvenated and this can revitalize his career. Oh, and by the way, he's got a really, really talented team and a good group of guys and a fan base that's absolutely insanely crazy, like the definition of fanatic when it comes to Razorback basketball. And you've got all those ingredients right now that are stirring, and there's still time to tell. But as far as the first impressions go, Arkansas absolutely knocked it out of the park. I'm buying the hype and that this team's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to cover, a hell of a lot of fun to watch, and they've got the potential to be very, very good. And we're going to continue to talk about it and break it down, folks. So I'm going to get out of here, but we're going to touch on a few more things here in the next couple of days, running back this Kansas game, maybe some things that stood out, some things that they can continue to work on and move forward as we turn the page to TCU and start getting you primed up for that one. Andrew Ellis and I are going to be down there at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. As far as I know, as of right now, there's going to be no streaming. I don't think there's going to be any radio broadcast or anything. So come and find us so we can give you the deets on all of it. The post-game show Friday night was electric, man. The people in the comments are really, really excited. Fayetteville's buzzing, and so are we. So tap in with us. Subscribe at Inside Arkansas for everything that we got going on. Football, basketball, baseball, you name it. Tons of digital content and the video platforms, the podcast platforms every single day. And then if you want to read, go over to InsideArkansas.com. This ain't like we're just YouTubers or podcasters, man. You go over and check out that website. We've got 5, 6, 7 new articles every day. We're breaking it down, and we feel like we're doing it at a really high level. And we're excited about what we've got going on. And we're also really excited about the support that we're getting from you guys. So can't thank you all enough for tapping in with us. And let's enjoy this ride together. John Calipari, head hog, slobber hog, back at Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas knocks off Kansas 85-69 in exhibition. What could possibly go wrong moving forward? We'll see. Appreciate you guys. Been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace. I'm out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow.